office main page. Is there anybody who's not seeing that? Okay, perfect. So just to sort of recap what we had from last session, we had done some work in the setup, food and beverage, and in the restaurants, which again is our basic food and beverage outlet, creating all those settings, which we really didn't need to change that much of. And we also looked at the setup, food and beverage, and the food and beverage terminals. And these are where we actually ring in the sales. We had also taken a look at what the point of sale is going to look like as the end product. And today we're going to move a little bit further on with that, and we're going to actually put in those items that we have for our menus. Now, the first half of today's session is going to be sort of lecture, and then the second part is where we're going to get into taking that spreadsheet that we worked on and actually filling it in to the screens that we're about to see. So we were working in the setup menu last time. Today we're going to move forward and use the cards menu. So we're going to go to the cards, food and beverage, and we're going to start off in the menu items. Now everybody's database is going to have this stock item that I created for the loadout, which is just a burger. So it shows off all the topics we're talking about today, and you can use that to reference back if you need to. So when we open up the menu items, this is what's going to be showing on the point of sale terminal that the servers will see and be able to ring in. Or if you're just working as a counter, it's what your counter staff are going to see. In the top grid, it's going to show you everything that's in the system right now. The bottom part of the screen shows you the detail about whatever item you highlight. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight this burger item. And notice now everything gets filled in the bottom. Okay, so let's go through some of the some of the details that we're looking at right here. In the item ID, again, this is going to be the system field. This is what it uses. So I use burger. What I would suggest for your items, use your, again, Courseco, and then after that, put in the description of what that item is. So in this case, let's say you were 111, so I would have put here 111 burger. And in the description, you can go into more detail as to what the item is. So if it was a burger, cheeseburger with fries and whatever, you could put all that in here in the description. Okay. What we're going to do is, unless the item is a bar item, so like a beer or whatever, we're going to keep everything on the food. And what that'll do is that'll tell the kitchen printers when this item is ordered, fire an order through to the kitchen. And again, if you're just a snack shop type of place, then you can either put snack and it won't print anywhere, or if you do have a printer hooked up that would take these delivery to prepare items, you could click on food. As I was saying, if it was an alcohol item, mark it as alcohol. We don't need to worry about the print class, and we don't need to worry about the self-serve hot and cold sections. Next one we do need to take a look at is the list price. And this is going to be the final price that the guest pays. So you put in there whatever your menu price is. We then have an option for overrides. And we can allow no overrides, so you can't override it at all, no changing the price. You can allow an override, or you can auto-prompt for an override. What this would do, let's say no override. In the case of the burger, it would stay at $9 and it can't be changed. If I wanted to allow an override, let's say that I need to discount it for whatever reason on the fly, I'm going to discount to $8. So I could allow this override. I click on the item on the point of sale, and I type in $8. The third option is to auto-prompt. Where I would use this and where it's most commonly used is for daily specials or like a fish item where it's market price and the price fluctuates. What you could do is put a zero list price and prompt every time it's ordered to put in what the current sale price is for it. So again, special items, any type of daily specials, you could use that. You can make the menu color, so the button for that item. You can put it to whatever color you want to. We've got the whole spectrum up here if you want to. Be aware that sometimes the more color you put on the screen, the more distracting it can be for a quick service. Last option, universal modifiers. We're not going to worry about that, so we just leave it as is. Items here are where they're going to be active. So if it's an active item, it's one that can be ordered. If it's marked inactive, won't show up on the point of sale. Limited quantity. Anything that you have a limited number of and you're going to want to pull the item off the point of sale once the 0 remaining hits. So what you do is mark it as limited and then put the number that you have right now. And as the point of sale keeps ringing them through, it'll deplete out of the stock. Once it's down to 0, it won't allow any more to be sold. Tax schedule, that's going to be filled in. Sales account, that's going to be filled in, so you won't have to worry about that. Menu sections. This is going to correspond to the different sales accounts. So depending on what the item is, you would tag it to a specific section. And when we get to the point of sale, it's going to be accessible through a button labeled the exact same way. And then finally, we're talking about our forced modifiers. So we'll get to sort of setting up the options and alternatives later, but what happens is this is pulling up my meat doneness, my meat toppings for my burger, and my choice of side. And I'll be linking those later. Once I have them linked to the item, I then tell it through the forced modifiers where I want it to go. And looks like those changed on me, so we'll just put that like that. And so force modifiers pops up, and I can sort the order. What will happen when we first create an item is all the options that we put in are going to be over in this right-hand window, or left-hand window, I mean. We select them, move them over to the right-hand window, and this means that now the options window is going to pop up when that item's ordered. And then it lists our items, or our options. And right now, it goes from meat temperature to my burger toppings to my choice of side. I also have this column where I can make that choice forced, meaning I can't move to the next choice until I make a selection. So in my meat temperature, I need to know what temperature that burger needs to be cooked at before I can move on. Burger toppings, I can, unless otherwise notified, I'm just going to create a plain old burger, no toppings. So I can leave that as is. And finally, choice of side, I need to know what is the side order that goes along with this. I can put them in any order I want by highlighting and clicking the up and down arrow to move the choice into what position I want it to be in. When I've made any changes and I want to save it, click Save, and we're all done. And that's setting up the menu item. Again, this is what's going to show up on the point of sale when a server goes to ring in a specific item. Are there any questions on the menu item setup? And again, please feel free to speak up during these question periods. As well, if you are not able to, if you do not have a phone connection, please use the chat window if you have any questions, and we can address them. Okay, so if there's no questions or anything on the menu items, we're now going to move forward into the options. Now, sort of if you're following along on the agenda, we're sort of skipping over the alternatives groups first, and then we're going to the inventory items. So please bear with me on that. You'll see sort of why in a moment. Okay, so we're going to again go to the cards, food and beverage, and inventory items. This is where we're going to list all of our modifiers. So anything that changes a menu item. And there's two ways we can do that. And if you remember, there was the options, where we have a choice of multiple items. And there's also the alternatives group. which is where we have a single choice of a list of items, like meat doneness. And I just got a question here, so we're just going to sort of put things on pause. And the question was there an agenda for today? The agenda that it was sent out, it was the same one that it was the second continuation part of the agenda we used last week. It's also available on the FTP site. So again, if anybody wants to log into the FTP, you can grab all the documentation right from there as well as the videos. So again, if you haven't checked it out, please check out the FTP site. It's going to contain all the current information, current documentation on the setups that we're doing here today, as well as the ones that have been going on with Logan. So all that information is going to be there. Okay, so we're now looking at the inventory items. We're going to be setting up the changes and modifiers that we can make to an item. So the first one we're going to do is we'll go through setting up a menu option. So again, that's going to be the multiple selection. In the screen that we're looking at, again, we have this large table at the top, which is going to show every single menu selection we have. The bottom table is going to show us the detail about whatever we've selected from the top. So I'm creating burger toppings. So what I did is I created first this meat toppings, which is my selection. So select it, and down at the bottom, what we're going to do is put our meat toppings, or in your case, use your, again, Courseco ID number, and then an explanation as to what the item is, using a short form. Again, this is going to be what the computer system uses. What we use as people is going to be the description. So that's where you can go into more explanation as to what it is. Class ID is always going to be modifiers for anything we're changing. Don't have to worry about the standard cost or the current cost. Don't have to worry about the unit of measure either. All items are going to be in the none category. And then we don't have to worry about the site assignments or anything. This is going to be the header of our cluster of burger toppings. So this is all we need to do here. We click Save, and it saves it. Now what we're going to do is create the individual choices within the burger toppings. So I have my veg lettuce. And again, I create a brand new item just the way it is, except this time I'm going to select it as a prepared food. I mark it as a menu option, and that's all that I need to do. I click Save, it saves it. I then go on and create the onion item. And again, notice everything's the same as we did before, prepared food. Menu option is selected, and click Save. And finally, I have my dairy cheese and my bacon, which again are all set up the same way. And I click my menu option, and it's a prepared food. I have a list here, and I can choose from whatever the appropriate topping would be, or the appropriate category would be. Make sure it's menu option, and click Save. Okay, so now I have my listing of all my different burger toppings. What I'm going to do now is go back to that burger topping I created, and I'm going to go to this tab right in the middle where it says Menu Options. I click on there, and there's a listing of all my options. If I want to add another item onto it, let's say I wanted to add, it looks like I have everything. If I had another option, what I can do is click into the item ID, so that's the first blank. I get this series of 3 dots. I click on that for my listing, and I can choose the items that I've made as a menu option. And once I do that, it's going to add them into this list. And if there was any upcharge, notice how for the bacon there's 50 cents. So if this item's selected, I can put a 50-cent upcharge in there. Okay, and then I would click Save. Then all I have to do is, again, I would go to my menu item. So that was the cards, food and beverage, menu item, find my burger, or whatever appropriate item it is. I go into the bottom table. I click on the items. And then, again, I can click into the blank field, click on the three buttons or three dots, and I would choose my meat toppings or whatever title you made for your option group. And then that adds it into the menu item. And then in the force modifiers, you can bring it over and choose whether or not you want to force the choice. And click Save. And that's adding a menu option. The next part is to create an alternative group. And again, remember, the alternative group is where you have a single choice, or basically what you're doing is you're substituting one thing from a list of other items. So like our meat doneness, we can have rare, medium, medium well, and well, but I can't have all of those. So what would happen is on my menu, it's going to pop up for a doneness. I'll say, what doneness do you want? And then I'm going to substitute in one of those choices. So here's how we create it. We're going to go back again to the cards, food and beverage, and inventory items. I'm going to create, like I did with my burger toppings, I'm going to create a header group for meat doneness. And again, for your item IDs, you can use your course code ID and your whatever the header is. So I have meat doneness, and in my description, I call it meat temperature. I set it up as a modifier, and everything else falls into place. Now what I do is I go ahead and I create all my different alternatives. The only change here between working with an option is that I don't mark it as an option. You'll see where it comes into in a second. Okay? So I did that for the rare, the medium rare, the medium well, and well. I create all these different choices. Now I'm going to go ahead and create the alternatives group. This is going to be that listing where I can choose from the list. And I do that from cards, food and beverage, alternatives groups. So what we see here is our listing of all the different alternatives groups we have. The bottom window tells us the details of whatever group we've selected. So I'm going to choose the meat temp. And what I've done here is I created the group ID for meat temp, and I said that it's a meat temperature. In this case, it is the same as my item that I created in the item inventory, but it does not have to be. It can be more generic, or it can be more detailed, whichever way you want. I create that, and I mark it as a food option because it's food we're dealing with. And then I click into the item ID, the first field, three dots, click on there, and then I would choose my first option, my meat temperature. That's going to be the choice. I would then double click on it. It'll add it to my list, and I repeat for the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, or however many different options you had. If, again, there was any type of upcharge, you can put a list price and put in what the upcharge would be. You click Save, and it saves the meat temp. As an example of something that had an upcharge, I go to my side orders. I put on, with my sweet potato fries, there's a $1.25 upcharge. Okay? Now, to add this so that I have only the one choice come available on my point of sale side, again, I'm going to go to the cards, food and beverage, and I go to the menu items. I then, again, go to whatever item I'm looking for, so in this case, the burger. And then in the bottom right, in the table, I go to the item ID, and I would click on the blank space, the 3 dots, and I would choose first my choice header, meat temperature, remembering that the alternative will say that any one of these can be used interchangeably. So I would select my meat temperature, and there it is, meat doneness. I would go to my forced modifiers. I would bring it over from the left to the right-hand side. And because this one I need to know how the person wants their burger cooked, I'm going to force the choice. I then click on Save, and I'm all done. Okay. Any questions on either the menu item itself, setting up the options, or setting up the alternatives groups? Any questions?
I have a question. So
Sure.
do you recommend that we start with putting in options and alternatives before we start menu?
From an efficiency point of view, yes, it does make sense to do it that way. But for me personally, I do the menu items, so that way I sort of have an idea of what I'm focusing on. So I'll keep all 3 tabs open like I have here, and then I'll build all my menu items first, and then I'll go back and fill in the details. But from an efficiency point of view, it would be easier just to, or be more efficient, to create the inventory items all first, and then attach them. This is where that the worksheet comes in handy, because you'll have that already identified, and then you can go down through the inventory list, create all of the options, then move to your alternatives groups if you needed to, create those, and then move over to your menu item and put everything all together.
Okay, great.
I hope now everybody's starting to realize what the significance of that worksheet was. Are there any other questions out there?
I have a question.
Sure.
Did that worksheet was presented on the first session?
Yes, it was.
Okay, because I was not able to attend that one. So how do I get that one?
That is available on the FTP site. And as well, there is a video of that. It's the food and beverage video number 1, and that's also available on the FTP site.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure. Anybody else have any questions? Okay, for now, what I'm going to do is take a quick little 10-minute break here, and we'll meet back in 10 minutes. So I've got 1/2 so we'll meet back at 1:45, and we'll pick up and we'll start discussing using those spreadsheets and everything.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to put things on pause, and I'll see everybody in 10 minutes.
Thank you.
Looking at, and it's going to show the point of sale screen. So this is roughly what it's going to look like. This, again, is my local setup. So it's going to look a little bit different, but for the most part, it's going to get us there. Okay, so I want to see what we put together. So we put together a burger, and we put some toppings, and we put the doneness, and we put a side order with it. So I don't have the burger one created here. I have a steak, but it does the same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to begin a new order, and I'll go to my main dish. I'm going to pull up my steak, and here's the option window that pops up. So the first option that comes up is a choice of side. So I have a choice of the salad, the baked potato, or the fries. I'm going to choose the baked potato. And when I choose the baked potato, it now has options for what can go on it. So I could put my sour cream, green onion, cheese, or any combination. I'm going to go with green onion and cheese. This is that forced option. So I click the next, and I can't do anything from here until I choose my meat doneness. Again, because it was a forced choice. So I'm going to choose my rare, and it rings through. Just to show a different one, I have a My Burger here. And when I choose My Burger, I have a choice again of doneness, and I can't move on until I choose something. So I'm going to choose medium. And now I have an option of what sauce, barbecue or mayo. I'm going to choose mayo. So click OK. And notice in this case, I can do it without a choice because I might want my burger plain. So I don't force the choice. So I click OK, and it puts it through. And then I would click the send order, and that's going to send it through the kitchen, and that's part of what we'll be getting to when we do the end user training section. So, any questions on putting through an order or getting the item set up so that it's going to look right on the point of sale side? So we showed how we went from this to what it's going to look like as the end result. Any questions? Again, as we're going through, if you have any questions, please select the chat window if you want to type it, or you can just speak out over the phone. Okay, so now what I wanted to do was if everybody could open up that spreadsheet that they had been working on, and we're going to choose one example, and we're going to go through and set it all up. Okay, so let me check our listing here and see who we have. Okay, is there anybody who wants to volunteer?
I will.
Is that Claudia?
Yeah.
I was hoping it was going to be you.
Yeah. It's
Okay, so what are we creating today?
So we'll start with the breakfast menu.
Okay, so it's going to be a breakfast item, alrighty. Okay, so now when we first started, I had talked about doing it two different ways. One, creating all the options, and then building from there. Or what I like to do, build the menu item first, and then fill everything in later. So let's start off with the menu item itself. Okay, so we're going to clear this. We're going to start with a brand new one. And what is this item?
It's called a meaty breakfast.
Okay, so for the item ID, what are we going to put in as our item ID?
Meaty breakfast.
Okay, and again, we want to use the sort of the Courseco number and then the abbreviation. So if you can just give me your number.
I don't know what my number is.
Okay. Then for this example, let's just say it was 111.
Okay.
And then I would go maybe MTY BKFST.
Okay.
Okay. Then, because I'm on a ID field, I'm going to hit Tab, and that's going to take me into the description. So here, I can say this is the meaty breakfast. Okay? As a food item, what is the menu price?
$6.95.
And, just for the sake of showing how to do it, the color, I'm going to put it in an orange color. Okay. I then go to my menu section, and I'm going to choose where this item would go. In this case, it would go as a prepared food. Okay. All we have to do is do an all tax and a sales account. We don't need to worry about it. We can just pull the first one on hand. What we're going to do later is we, meaning TEG, we're going to go in and we can change all that based upon what's been put in here. So we won't worry about that. Okay, so now we've got our basic framework. We can click Save, and that creates the actual menu list on our point of sale. Now what we need to do is create the options and the alternatives within the meaty breakfast. So let's begin, and Claudia, let's do the options first, or let's do an option first. So what's one of the options that you have for the meaty breakfast?
They're all alternatives.
All alternatives. Oh, okay. So let's build an alternative then. What's the first one we want to do?
Eggs, how they want them prepared.
Okay, so again, I would go clear. In the item ID, I'm going to use the 111, and let's say style egg. Okay. And just to keep things different, I'm going to go egg style as my description. Again, it's a modifier, so I'm going to go here, and I'm going to choose modifiers. And yes, I do want to roll down the details. Perfect. Now I can hit save. And now we're going to do 111. And we did style egg, and I would go 01. Okay, what's the first option we can create?
Scrambled.
And I click my modifier. I do want to roll down all the details. And I click save. Okay. 111 style egg. What's the next? Oh, notice what happens when you put in something that already exists. It's going to pull it up and pull up all the details on it. So that's why it's not going to let you duplicate items. So we'll hit clear. Now we go 111 style. And we'll put a space in there. Style egg 02. Okay, what's the second style of egg?
Over medium.
Over medium. Okay. Class ID. Modifier. Yes. And we click save. And again, Claudia, what do you think we're going to put in here?
111 style egg -03.
Okay, what's our third style of egg?
You just do sunny side up.
Perfect. Modifier. I do want to roll it down. There we are. Okay. Are we good? Are there more options, or are we good to sort of move on and actually create the alternatives group?
Yeah, we have meat options, side options, and toast.
Okay. So then let's create those ones while we're here. Okay, so this is going to be, I'm sorry, the meat options?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's, and we'll say meat. Meat options. And I'm assuming this one's going to be the choice of meat. I make that one a modifier as well. Click yes. 111 meat option 01. Okay, and I'm assuming this is probably going to be something like sausage, ham, or bacon?
Yes.
All right. Sausage. And we create a modifier, roll down the details, and save. All right, 111 meat option 02. Okay, in this case, notice I can't put my O2 in there. So that's why we got to keep things a little bit tighter. So I might go with OPT 02. And what's this one, bacon?
Yes.
Okay. And again, modifier. And 111 OPT 03. And this is going to be, let's see, what do we got? The bacon, we got the sausage, ham, right?
Yes.
And roll down the details and save. Okay, and now I think we were going to move on to toast. Is that correct?
Yes.
I have a question.
Sure.
What if you want to, what if the customer wants all 3 meats?
Okay, then if you would regularly have that, then I might set these up as options.
Okay.
Sort of one of those one-offs. So maybe it happens, you know, once a week, maybe once a month that somebody wants all 3.
Right.
You could set up a menu item for side sausage, side ham, side bacon.
Okay.
Or you could just put in the comment field that there's a side amount there, or extra sausage or whatever, and go that way.
Okay.
Okay, so a couple different ways you can do it. Probably what I would probably do is set them up as options
Okay.
and go that route.
Okay.
Alrighty? But again, great question. Okay, so we're going to do our toast now. So we'll go again with our item ID, and we'll go 111 toast. We'll just leave it as 111 toast. That seems to be pretty explanatory and pretty open as well. So description, choice of bread, and we go to the class ID, and we create the modifier, roll down the details, and save. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're actually going to put in our different styles of bread. So 111 toast 01. This might be, let's see, we'll say it's white bread. Modifier. And roll down the details. Okay. 111 toast 02. And what's this one going to be? Whole wheat?
Yeah, wheat.
Okay, wheat. And modifiers. Roll the details. And there we go. And toast 03. And what? Rye bread? Modifiers, roll down the details, and save. Okay, so now we've created the style of egg, the choice of meats, and the toast. Are there any other options, alternatives that need to be created?
There's sides, and so all of them are alternative unless you go with fruit. It's a 75-cent add-on.
Okay, so for this example, we've sort of got the idea now of how to create the alternatives. So we'll sort of leave that one off, and when you go to create your own, you can go ahead and put that in there. Okay?
Great.
Now that we've created the actual individual items, we need to create that grouping that's going to allow us to switch back and forth between them. So we go to our food and beverage alternatives groups, again found from cards, food and beverage alternatives groups. Okay, so I'm going to go clear, and we're going to create a new one, and let's call this eggs. It'll be the style of egg. going to be a food, and then I click into the table, click on the 3 dots, and I choose my first egg. So that would be the, where are we here? The egg style. Okay. Second, we go for the 01 now. And we go for the 02. And finally, the 03. Okay. Then we hit save. Easy as that. Next one, we're going to do our choice of meat. So I'll just call this choice meat. And I would put in here breakfast meat, just to give it a better explanation. And then repeat the same process. Click into the item ID, click on the 3 dots, and choose my meat option. I then do my 3 dots again, and I choose the option 01, or option 0 in this case because I didn't abbreviate. 3 dots again, option 2, and 3 dots once more for the ham. Now, if there was, let's say there was an upcharge on the ham. It's an extra 50 cents. So I can go in here, the list price, and put in 50 cents. And there we go. Okay, I save. There's my choice of meat. And finally, I'm going to put in my toast option. Choice of bread. Again, item ID, 3 dots. Go find my toast, bring my choice in, and then go to toast 01, toast 02, and finally toast 03. And again, let's say there was an upcharge on the rye bread of 75 cents. I can put that right in there and save. Okay, so I've got my alternative items listed. I've created the group, and now what I need to do is attach those groups to that menu, or to that menu item, I mean. So we're going to go up, go to our menu item. So again, that was from cards, food and beverage, menu items. I then find the meaty breakfast, and I go over here into the right-hand window, and in the item ID, I choose my first option. So the first thing I want to choose is probably what style of egg do I want. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to go what egg style. Remembering that we created that alternatives group so that says that anytime this item is selected, there's a whole other listing of options that can be chosen. Okay? We do the next, let's say our choice of meat. So that would be our meat option. I'm going to go choice of meat. And then finally, I'm going to select our choice of toast. And there we are. Now I'm going to tell the system to bring up that option window, and in what order and do I need forced choices here. So I click on the forced modifiers. There's all the items on the right-hand side, or left-hand side, I mean. I need to move them to the left. So I'll go left, or to the right, I mean. I go right, right, right. There we are. And let's say I want my egg style to be the first choice. I can highlight it, click the up arrow, moves it up. Okay, my egg style, I need to know how somebody wants their eggs cooked. So I'm going to force that choice. Choice of meat. In this case, because it's an option, I'm going to make it a forced choice as well because I need to know. And same with the toast. Click Save. And we're all done. I click Save once more to save the entire menu item here. And we're all done. We've set up that item. We've attached the alternative groups to it. And now we've attach the alternative groups to the actual menu item. Any questions on what we've just done? I'm just checking our chat window here, and I see a message asking about a course code number. I might be sort of not understanding or not speaking properly. All I was referring to is something that identifies your course within the course code structure. So if there's any type of like accounting code, anything that differentiates your course from another, that's all that I'm using here. What this is it's sort of future-proofing. So if this all goes live and everything gets amalgamated in, let's say, a year, and everybody's using one database, then this will be able to keep Los Legos, their items separated out from Sunny Willows. Okay, so again, you don't have to. You could abbreviate it with, you know, like if it was Los Legos, I could go LL as my predecessor or my preceding combination, and then the item that I want to use. I hope that clears things up. Was that answering your question, Bruce?
Yes, thank you.
Perfect, okay. Are there any other questions out there? Okay, we've gone through the example. What I'm proposing that we'll do now is, again, we'll take another 10-minute break. If everybody can pull up their spreadsheets, make sure they have them open. If you haven't visited the FTP site yet to get those documents, please do over this break. We'll meet back, and then we'll go through setting one up. This time what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand control over to somebody, and they're going to guide us through it. Okay, so again, let's get all that stuff prepped, and we have about 10 minutes. So I have 3:05. That's 3:05 local for me. So we'll go at the quarter past the hour. Okay, so we'll see everybody in 10 minutes. We then went through, created the alternative groups as we needed to. We created menu items and then attached those alternative groups and those options to it and told the system how to pop them up on the point of sale and in what order we wanted them. Now this goes into probably a lot more detail than those who are running just a simple little snack shack or a snack stand. What we would do here is you would create only the menu items, because that's all that you really need. So we'll sort of run through a quick example. Let's say I'm running a small little snack shack and I sell Gatorade, and I want to put that as the item. I don't have any options on it. It's one size, it's the one bottle, that's that. So I'm going to go clear. My item ID, I'll say, again, using the same convention that I have been, and I'll say Gatorade. In the description, Gatorade. I'm going to leave it as is. I put my sell price, so let's say it was $2.50.
Beverage.
Pardon me?
Beverage, there you go.
Yep. And then tax schedule, again, we won't have to worry about that because it'll all be preset. And then, again, we can say cash on hand, because what we're going to do is go in the menu section, and we already know that that is going to be a soft beverage. And like I said, we'll be running a little program after we're all done this that's going to update that sales account based upon what we put here. And that's it for creating the Snack Shack items. Any questions on those? Okay, so I hope in the break everybody was asked.
Quick question,
Sure.
I'm sorry. In terms of the sales ID, do you have to put like a number ahead of the item like you did the 111?
No, that was, again, just my way of organizing things so that, like I said, future-proofing. If, 3 years down the road, course code decides to consolidate everything into one database, then the 111s, so if I had Gatorade at, let's say, Los Legos, and I had Gatorade also at Mather, then they put together and they use the same ID, it's going to cause an issue. You won't know which one's which. Whereas if I put a 111 for, let's say, Los Legos, and Mather uses 222, then it would easily identify which one's which. Again, sort of a
Nope.
future-proofing thing. If you have, I was under the impression that there was like a 3-digit course co ID number that you used, but you could use anything. You could, in my example here, for Los Lagos, I could go LL, and then Gatorade. Mather would be M or MA.
So that's not something that the point of sale is going to see?
No, they see the description.
Just the description, I gotcha.
Exactly.
So you
Okay,
want us
great.
to assign something there, though, whatever the number or letter sequence ahead of the item number. I mean, ahead of the description.
Yep, and that just keeps things unique.
Okay. Lance, do you have anything to offer there and what to do? Assuming Lance is listening.
Well, Logan gave us a chart of accounts that had each course's identifier on it in the
Okay, so
golf operations part.
And that's what you guys are wanting to use? Okay. 10-4.
Okay, so let's see. Go ahead again, put it out to the group, and just to make sure, let's go to, let's see, who operates a snack shack or a snack stand?
Margarita at Green River.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the name?
Margarita.
Margarita.
Actually, here at this property, I have, which is the grill, and then I have the beverage cart, and then I have the snack bar. So it's 3 different, things that we have.
Okay, those will be what actually probably what we'll do is we'll be setting those up as individual logins, and that'll track everything that way.
Great. That's what I was just going to ask you.
Yep. And where are you, what course are you representing?
At the Green River and Corona.
Okay. I'm not seeing your name in the listing here. Did you log in when you first logged into the meeting? What name did you put in there?
I think it was under Tom, maybe the general manager.
I'm not seeing Tom.
You didn't see Tom either?
I see a banquet manager. I don't know.
That's
is that
me.
You? That would be you? Okay, perfect. So I'm going to give you keyboard and mouse control. And now, if you could put in, let's say, one item off your worksheet or I understand that you just got that today. If you could put in one item that you retail out of your snack stand.
Okay.
All right, so you have keyboard and mouse control.
Okay. Did you get it?
Did I get what?
I just put it in my keyboard.
Okay, so we need to, so you have the mouse and keyboard, okay. Now what you're going to want to do is go to that item ID and create the item.
Oh, you know
So
what?
just like we have been demonstrating. Except this time it's all you.
No, I can't do it. I'm sorry. I don't know why.
It's not
Sure.
letting you do anything?
Uh-uh.
So I'm seeing your mouse moving.
Still shows you as the presenter, Bradley.
It is,
Yeah.
yep. I'm the presenter. So what you need to do is you need to have the screen up that shows my screen. And you should have control of that.
I see
And now
it.
are you looking at the same screen which shows the menu item page?
Yes.
Okay, so now you're going to click into the item ID field
I don't
at the
know.
top or at the left corner. Yep. And now type in the item that you're looking to set up.
Okay.
Okay, so hot dog, perfect.
Hmm?
Now again, if your item ID, you could put, you could preface that with the name of your course, the name of your
Okay.
outlet, whatever you want to do to keep it unique.
Okay. Oh. I can
Okay.
do Green River, GR.
It'll be a little bit of a delay,
Mm-hmm.
so just please be patient as you're typing.
No problem.
Okay, so once you've got that set up, you hit Tab to move into the description field. And now here in the description field is where you would find the information that's going to be presented to the point of sale.
Okay.
So press Tab.
There's tab.
You should have a tab key on your keyboard.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll type in again. This is just, the hot dog or whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
This is what the server is going to see, or the cashier is going to see.
Yes.
Okay, and if that's everything, then we just need to sort of scroll down the page till we get to the list price. It's the third line up from the bottom. Keep going a little bit more to the left.
Oh, that's this one.
Nope, go down. There we go, list price.
The cost, okay. Oh, the list
Nope,
price
not the
or
cost, list.
Okay.
Yep, and you type in the price here.
Okay.
Okay. You can add a color if you wanted to
Okay.
on that color button.
Yes.
And you can apply anything.
Is this one?
And then click OK. Okay, we go to the tax schedule. Perfect. And you're going to click on that, and it should bring up another window. Okay, we're going to click the all tax, or in this case, the sales tax. You can either double click, or you can highlight and click the select button.
Okay. I think I did it already.
Try double clicking on that. Okay, click the select button. From the top left. See? There we go. Okay, and let's go to the sales account. Now again, it doesn't matter, we just need to put something in there.
Where is the sales account?
Just below the tax. Yep, and click on the magnifying glass. You can choose that first item in the list there. Double click or click select.
Okay.
Perfect. And then go to the menu section button.
Which section, I'm sorry?
With the button that says menu sections.
Okay.
Okay, and then put a check mark beside where this item belongs.
Okay, so this probably be, I have to be barefoot.
Okay, and now click Save. Sort of the top left.
Okay, top left.
There you go. Perfect. So you went in and you put in one of your items.
Oh, great, thank you.
Anybody have questions or concerns about what we just saw? And again, let's put our hands together there. Marguerite did great considering she had not been in yesterday's session.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, not at all. Good job, good job. Okay.
You said when you chose the sales account there, you said it doesn't matter?
No, at this point it doesn't matter because what's going to happen is once you've put everything in, we as Total E, we're going to go in and we're going to update the sales account based upon the menu section. Okay, let's see here. Now, who on the phone has another items with listings and options and alternatives?
You know, I saw in the list that you have banquet as well.
Mm-hmm.
Is that going to be something different? Because I do banquets as well here.
Okay, so then you would list those items as a banquet item. So you'd create a hot dog banquet and a hot dog regular.
Okay, gotcha. And I think that's probably going to be more for like a banquet, you know, liquor prices and stuff like that, not necessarily food, but okay. That's
Well, there is options for food, wine, alcohol, and beer.
Okay.
Okay, so who else do we have here that does more of the produced food or the So is there anybody out there that runs where they have the options other than our good friend Claudia?
Yeah.
Is there anybody else who operates their food and beverage with menu options and menu alternatives? Okay, then Claudia, we're going to give you the controls here.
Okay.
Is to create one of your spreadsheet items right from the ground up. So again, I'm not going to be touching the controls here. This is all you.
Okay. So we'll do a deli sandwich. Food. What's that? Oh wait, sorry. I made that one. Cold. Does that matter? Or hot or cold?
It's not really going to matter because I don't think you're running multiple different printers in the kitchen, are you?
No.
No, then you don't have to worry. Either one will work. So
Okay.
you can leave it as the hot printer. That's fine.
Got it.
Don't necessarily have to put colors in things. I was just doing that in case you wanted to. So the only time I might do things is to group items together.
Huh?
So maybe if it was, like sandwiches, you might do like a cool color like green or blue, whereas items that are cooked might be yellow or orange. And that's what I might do.
What's the difference between the all tax and the S tax?
In this case, nothing. They're both the same thing. If there was multiple different taxes, then that all tax will contain every single tax.
Why are we not adding a cost?
Because there is not inventory tracking in this setup.
Okay. Prepare. Oh.
There you go. Okay, so you have your deli sandwich. So you want to save this? Perfect. Okay, so now let's go build the components that go into the deli sandwich. So our choice of choices.
So the food and beverage alternatives? Is that right?
Items that provide our alternatives. So
But
we'll start off in the inventory. Okay, yep, so perfect. Okay, yep. Exactly. Okay. Again, to keep consistent, I would do the 111 deli meat. Yep. There you go. Perfect.
What did I do the last one? Okay. Oh, 1, 2. Okay. So there's more options, but
Okay. Yeah, for this example, that works just fine. Okay, so let's move on. What would be the next grouping of items?
topping.
Yep, exactly. Now, in this case, that would be good for the choice. What I might do for our options later on is abbreviate the topping to maybe something like either TOPP or TPNG. Again, that would be only for the item ID.
You know where they...
Now, if I could just ask one question as we're going through this, and everything's going fine. What I'm wondering is, are these toppings, are they alternatives or are they options?
Alternative or up? I don't know.
Oh, can I have the lettuce and another option?
Yes.
Or can I only
Option.
have lettuce or cheese or tomato?
So you can have all of it.
Okay, so in that case, that makes it a
Option.
option, exactly. So again, you haven't done anything wrong. There's only one other thing we have to do here to make something an option. So while you're completing topping number 2, we'll finish it out, and then we'll go back and tweak topping number 1.
Okay, so what do I do from here?
Yep, now you see that little option below class ID that says menu option?
Yes.
On. Click. There we go. Now save it. Okay, let's go back to topping 1. Okay, and make it a menu option as well, and save. Perfect. Okay, now you can continue on with topping 3, or if you wanted to do another grouping. Now,
yeah, let's move on to
and we need to do one last thing for our sandwich toppings. So go to that choice of toppings, so that sandwich topping, highlight it. Now what we need to do is go to that menu options tab. Note the tab in the center of the screen. Nope, turn that. So what we'll do is we'll turn off the menu option. And then what we need to do is go to the menu options here.
Oh, got it.
Click it once more, please. There we go. And in the item ID field, I'm going to click in there, click on the 3 dots, and choose our tomato, yep. And let's choose our lettuce in the same manner. And just for the sake of completion, let's say that the tomato is 25 cents extra. Exactly. Click on Save. There we go. Okay, and now I'm going to show you a little sheet that we have here. I'm assuming with a deli sandwich, you could have a choice of bread, correct?
Yes.
Oh, guess what? We've already created a choice of bread. So we don't have to recreate it again. We can use that toast. Now, it could say it was toasted. That's fine, because the kitchen would know on a deli sandwich, not going to toast the bread unless I'm told to toast the bread. So now what we can do is we can go over to our menu item. Or my mistake, first of all, we need to do the deli meat option and create those into alternatives.
Okay.
Nope, we actually need to go to the tab for the food and beverage alternatives groups.
Here? Sure. So, create it.
Exactly.
In my bag on that bar, the blue bag, there should be about $8 worth.
Perfect. And in the description, you can just choice of deli meats or whatever you want to. Okay, now we need to pull up that deli meats group. So we'll click on it. Okay, and in the bottom table, we need to add what can be interchanged for deli meat. Yep, click on those 3 dots. There we go. And we choose our deli meat. Okay. And we also want to put in our choice of. So we want that deli meat, just plain old deli meat, in the 3rd line. There we go. Just click on select, please. Perfect. And again, just for the sake of completion, let's say the turkey costs an extra 30 cents. Okay, now we save, yep. And we go to the menu items. And now we're going to fill in the deli. So we'd already done the basic framework, and now what we're going to do is go to that. Yep, exactly. Click on there. And the first thing we want to bring up is our choice of deli meat. Perfect. Next choice. Was there a choice of bread? Perfect. Order to bring up those choices.
So would I select hide when no option selected? Or
That as is. Click on the enforced modifiers. The button below menu sections.
You have a class or something online?
yeah.
Oh, fun.
Right.
Okay. Oh, see you later. Bye.
Okay. Now what we want to do is take all three items and move them to the right. So you can just go click, click, click. Up. And if you want to change the order, maybe you want the choice of bread to be first. Exactly. Okay, now, do I need to know what type of bread? Okay, so we're going to force that choice. Do I need to know what meat? Yep. Not necessarily. You could say, and again, this gets into more of a procedural thing. If your kitchen makes it, let's say they make it plain unless otherwise notified. So you could leave that as is and leave it unmarked. So they would know the option pops up and they can say they want the tomato and the lettuce. And if they don't put a choice, then it means just make it plain. I didn't sort of get to this, and I'm going to, again, hit save. Yep, that's fine. So we created the item. Great example. Here's that other way of doing things that I was just talking about. So in the food and beverage inventory item, for the sandwich toppings, I can pull up that item. I can go to those menu options. And you notice here, it says default. If I put a check mark there and a check mark there, what it's going to do is it's going to pre-select options. So then all the server would have to do is turn them off. So again, it's different ways of doing it. I would probably say this works much better than doing the opt-out method. So that was creating the separate option for take out tomato, take out bacon, take out cheese. I would say do it this way and pre-select them using the default column. Okay. Any questions on what we've just set up there?
Not so far.
Can you
will you show us on how to do like an exclude a topping, a basic topping?
Well, all we would do to exclude, again, two different ways. One would be just like we have here. So we create our topping, and then I make each one of these pre-selected. So when the point of sale, when the little option pops up, those will already be selected. If the guest did not want it, then the server just has to tap on those options to unmark them.
Okay.
The other way of doing it, and this is probably the more roundabout way, is to do like we did here, sandwich toppings, except this would be sandwich remove toppings. And then I'd say remove tomato, remove lettuce, and so on.
Okay.
Okay? So again, two different ways of doing it. I would prefer to do the default and have them check marked here.
So if we do it a default, then a button's going to come up, and if you click it, it'll remove it?
Exactly. Okay, so anybody have any other questions? Is there anybody out there that would like to be a volunteer to go next? Or what I'm proposing what we'll do, and this is what I worked with the power users, is we'll take a short 10-minute break again, or maybe actually we'll bump it up to 15 so everybody can stretch, get a coffee, whatever, and then we'll turn it into a work session. So what will happen is we'll leave the phone lines open. You can exit or minimize the web screen, and then open up and log into your individual course and begin working through it, putting your items in. And I'll leave the phone line open, and if you have any questions, you can just sort of fire it out. So you could say, oh, I'm in the food and beverage alternative groups, and I forgot how to increase or upcharge something. And then I can guide you through how to do that. So does that sound good to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got 10 minutes to the hour. I said 15 minutes, so we'll go at 5 minutes past the hour. And we'll meet back here, and we'll go into our whole work session. So again, I'm going to...
My question is Margarita.
Oh, yes, Margarita, what can I do for you?
Since I was not in the first session, how do I go to the individual golf course?
Pardon me, I didn't quite grab your question there.
Oh, you say you want to practice how to do it in our individual, screen for the golf course that we work on.
Yep.
How do I get there?
There was a spreadsheet that was sent out that had all your login information. And it's also, if I'm not mistaken, available on the FTP site.
Okay, then I have to look it up because I don't think I have it on hand. I'm going to see if I can look it up right now.
Okay, perfect. And we'll see you back in about 15 minutes.
Great, thank you.